Hello everybody, your portly Paladin's back here again. I know it's been forever since I stopped making these videos, and I do apologize for that. There's a lot of reasons why I kind of stopped. Part of it was the fact that I had gotten back to work again for a little while there. So between all the things I had sort of picked up when I was out of work, plus add into that all the work doing this videos and doing my gaming videos I was doing, blogging all over the place. I was picking up a lot of things at my local game store, things like that. I just kind of got overwhelmed and wasn't able to do everything that I wanted to do. And honestly, I was getting to the point where I was starting to get a little depressed over the weight loss thing because I started gaining back. So I didn't really want to talk about that. But I've had the opportunity now to where I sort of thought about it, and I kind of want to talk about it. And I want to go back to doing these videos the way I was doing because I think it really helps a lot of people. At least, I've had some people that have said that they have gotten some help out of these videos. So I'm back to doing them again now. My new space here that I'm doing videos in is actually my wife's little office studio that she uses. She's a makeup blogger. She blogs about makeup quite often. She has her own YouTube channel. I'll put the links down below so you guys can check those out. But yeah, this is something that she put together for doing all of her videos for her YouTube channel and for her blog for all her different makeup things that she does. So I think it's a little bit nicer to do videos in here than it used to be doing them out of my couch out there. Pretty soon, hopefully, I've got another room right next door. That's my room. It's my hobby room. Right now, it's piled full of crap. I'm hoping to kind of get that cleared out soon and get a desk and things set up in there so I can start doing my videos over there. But meanwhile, let's get back to talking about more about what I've been doing. First things first, like I said, I did gain weight back. I gained probably about 30 pounds between the end of October last year and around the beginning of February this year. Several reasons for that. I started working a new job, like I mentioned, and that job, while it was not the best thing I've ever done, it wasn't the most fun thing. It was a pretty nice place to work. People there were great, and they had a lot of perks. One of those perks being everywhere you looked, there was free food. Everywhere. Break room was full of boxes of cereal. There was lunch meat and bread and bagels and toast and jellies and peanut butters and soups and like all this stuff was free. Just grab it out of the cabinet, crack open the can of soup, pour it in a bowl, nuke it in the microwave, and you could have a free lunch. But none of these options were healthy options. There was one room that they called the kitchen, which is where they had a bunch of free beverages, a whole giant cooler, like stand-up cooler, like you see in a store, full of cans of soda and juices. Now, I did not indulge in the soda. I'm still soda-free for over 2 years. Um, but there, next to the soda, where they had the coffee and the teas and everything, was also a giant basket of goodies. Breakfast things like Nutri-Grain bars and Pop-Tarts, and there were cookies, there were brownies, just tons of stuff. In the break rooms there was always big boxes full of chips and snack mixes and things like that. Again, none of this stuff was really all that healthy. And I found myself periodically just going, I'm kind of hungry. Instead of waiting for lunch, I'll just have a Nutri-Grain bar. Or I'd go in the morning and I'd make my normal breakfast of oatmeal, which I had almost every single day when I was working there. And I would grab a banana and an orange juice. And, sometimes I would throw a handful of raisins into my oatmeal. And, all these things sort of started adding up. And at the time, I wasn't keeping track of my points as well as I should have. Things just got bad, and I think that's really kind of what contributed it. Plus, you had a lot of holiday stuff in there too that I didn't really pay attention during. So all these things just sort of added up to me gaining back 30 pounds. It's not something I'm proud of, but what I am proud of is the fact that not only have I lost all of that 30 pounds since February, but I have also lost an additional, let's see, 17 pounds. So since February, I've lost 47 pounds. I think that's insane to think about. Um, but that kind of brings me to another thing that I want to talk about, which is back at Christmas and then my birthday, which is in January. My family got me a scale that I can use, and it goes all the way up to like 550 pounds, I believe. Because of that scale, it's really kind of kept me honest, I guess you could say. I'm still keeping track of my points. I sort of stopped measuring because I felt that the measuring wasn't nearly as accurate as it could have been. I'm still going to probably try to do it maybe once every month or two, just kind of gauge where I'm at. But because there's really no landmarks on your body to gauge exactly where you measured the last time, you don't know if you're getting an accurate measurement anyway. So I kind of stopped doing that a little bit. I do think that I'm going to go back to doing that a little bit. I did get a new measuring tape. See, my last measuring tape only went to 60, and my waist is bigger than 60 inches. So every time my wife and I, when we were trying to measure, it was always a guessing game of, where did we leave off, trying to put, my fingers here and measuring to here and things like that every time we try to measure. But now we got a new tape measure here that goes all the way up to 120. Don't worry, I'm not going to be anywhere close to that. But it gives me an opportunity now where I know that I can measure myself more accurately that way. But the scale is also there. Now I know I kind of for 1 minute last year sort of brought it up and mentioned it, but I never really wanted to talk about it too much, and that's actually kind of where I started. And where I started was actually 552 pounds. I didn't really want to talk about it too much because it was kind of embarrassing to me that I started really that high. Because 552 pounds, quite frankly, at 5 feet 8 inches it's just an astonishing number. Something that I think I kind of tried to deny that I was there before I started doing this. I always kept telling myself that, oh, I'm not bigger than 500 pounds. I'd say 480 at the most, And actually, when I first weighed myself before I started doing this, when I went to the doctor, I weighed in at 552 pounds. Like I said, that's something that I'm definitely not proud of at all. But what I am proud of is that as of today, it's Thursday, and I'm going to start trying to put these videos out on Thursdays because that's when we're weighing ourselves, my wife and I. I am now at 475 pounds. I've lost 77 pounds, all told, since January of last year. And if you really kind of look at it and think about it, and you add in that 30 pounds that I actually gained and then re-lost, technically I've lost 107 pounds in a little over a year. So I think that's kind of impressive. Maybe not, but in my mind it is. I guess every little thing kind of helps. But yeah, so one of the greatest things about doing this is if you're a bigger guy like me and you're anything like me, you probably have boxes of clothes or maybe just one side of your closet, things that you don't fit into anymore. But you kind of refuse to throw away because you think to yourself, I will fit into those one day. I will. I will get back into those jeans. I will get back into those t-shirts. I will get back into whatever it is. And I have a lot of those. I have a couple of boxes worth of clothes that were like that. One of my biggest goals was wearing shorts. I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 pairs of shorts that I used to wear consistently about 4 or 5 years ago. And the day that I tried to the one summer that I tried to put those on and they didn't fit, I threw them into a box and I said I will never wear shorts again until I can fit back into these shorts. I won't do it because there's no point in buying new shorts and just basically telling myself it's okay to be comfortable or whatever when I'm putting this issue on myself. So I kind of forced myself to deal with it, to deal with not wearing shorts. And a couple weeks back here in Ohio, it got over 100 degrees every day with 50-60% humidity. Very uncomfortable. So that gave me the, I guess, desire to really want to wear shorts again. And I thought to myself, man, if I could just wear those shorts again, that'd be great. I would be so much more comfortable when I'm going out and running places and doing things. So I just got an idea one day to go ahead and try them back on. And they fit. They fit pretty good, actually. They're not very snug or anything. They're actually pretty comfortable. Most of the shorts, I actually have to wear a belt with them because there's enough room there for that to happen, which was just awesome. Um, I just can't imagine that I've reverted back to 4 or 5 years ago. I've taken off 5 years of weight that I've put onto myself. I That's something that's really hard to believe, but it's great to think about too. Um, Another thing that I want to talk about here, since we're on kind of on this subject, is the first thing that I kind of noticed, I'd say, about myself after losing the weight and everything is I'm no longer afraid to talk about some things that I used to be that I would be embarrassed about because I'm kind of trying to fix it. I guess it's making me feel better about it. One of those things is, before I talked about my weight, another thing that I was kind of afraid of talking about is sizes. The sizes I wear. This shirt is a 6X. It's a shirt that I got from my local game store. It says here Gateway Gamers. We did this as a 1-year anniversary for my local game store. Shout out to Todd and Wendy. Love you guys. But when I was ordering these shirts, I actually ordered a 6X because I'm so used to wearing a 6X. And honestly, this thing is so big and baggy. I probably could have gotten away with a 5X pretty easily without being too uncomfortable, honestly. I have several 4X shirts in my closet that I've been putting back on that, again, I haven't worn in 2, 3, 4 years. Um, but the biggest change has been in my pants size. I was there for a while before I started losing weight, kind of stuck in a 70. Now that is a number that still kind of embarrasses me. Uh, I feel kind of weird saying it out loud. It's like I'm admitting that I was a failure in a way, but I'm not a failure because I'm fixing it. So that's kind of one of those things that you gotta get yourself oriented to it a little bit. But yeah, I started out as a 70. That's where, when I started this whole thing, that's where I was at. Um, Now, one of the things that kind of did surprise me a little bit is, even though I just said I lost 77 pounds, if somebody else were to say that to me, I'd say, wow, they've probably lost like, what, 10, 12 pant sizes? Well, when you're a bigger person like me, you're losing weight everywhere, not just around your waist. I didn't lose 10, 12 pant sizes, but I did lose 6. Well, sort of. See, I went from a 670 to a 68 to a 66, 64, and I'm now somewhat wearing 62s. So, yeah, kind of 6 pant sizes. I kind of float between 62 and 64. Depends on the day, because sometimes I still retain a little bit of water. So sometimes the 62s are a little snug, but 64s is kind of where I'm staying comfortable right now. So I'm pretty much wearing the 64, but I could wear a 62 if I needed to. So whereas before the 70 was kind of snug, and I had been contemplating going up to another size. So I've lost 6 pant sizes, going down to almost another one here soon. I would say 62s are getting to fit a little bit better every day. So, wow, I'm kind of amazed at where I'm at right now. When I first started this, I didn't think that I'd be doing as well as I've been doing. I didn't think that I would be able to even go as far as I've gone, but I am, and I'm kind of kind of amazed by that, and I think it's pretty freaking awesome. So yeah. I just want to talk about a few other things here real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. I don't want to make this a huge video, even though it's my first time back after quite a long time. But what I want to talk about right now is Gen Con. I just recently found out that I got approved for a press pass to Gen Con. For my work with DushyDM.com. But one of the things I'm planning on doing is basically writing a how-to guide for the fat person, a big person when they're going to a place like Gen Con or another con. Kind of, these are the things you have to think about ahead of time. These are things you have to prep for. And then once you've gone there, these are things you have to think about. One of my big things last year was, oh God, for weeks I worried and agonized and was so angsty over would I be able to sit down anywhere while I was there. Now, last year, I will admit, for a first-time con goer, being as big as I was last year, it was a chore, honestly. I sat down a lot because I was so tired all the time. Made one complete circuit through the vendor hall, which I was very proud of, honestly, because it was the most I'd walked in one stretch in a long time, because that place is huge. But then, I made a couple of, half circuits, I'd say, and then had to, bail and get out pretty quickly. And then there was a little bit of other walking also that was done. But by the time I left, my feet were killing me. My body hurt. I was so tired, exhausted, and worn out. It took a lot for me to get back to the car to leave. I couldn't imagine having done a second day. That was our original intention, was to do 2 days, so I'm really glad we decided not to do 2 days, because 2 days would have been horrendous. But this year, well, it's going to purely depend upon how things go in terms of the money situation, to be perfectly honest. Because, with me not working right now, I'm making less on unemployment than I did last year. And, yeah, if things work out okay, and we have the funds that I'm looking at getting available, I would like to do 2 days next year, Saturday and Sunday. And I do plan on, blogging it, or vlogging it, or both, next year at Gen Con. It would be awesome if I could get a hold of a video camera before then, so I could do some videoing while I'm there, and show some of the other people out there that there are bigger people like us that do end up going to the shows. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Like I mentioned before, planning on doing these on Thursdays of every week. So kind of, keep your eyes peeled for that. I will admit that if things get a little overwhelming again, I have a ton of things on my plate still. But I think this should be easily popped in without too much trouble. The blogs, they're harder. They take more time because I have to sit down and find the time to sit down and type. So usually they're a little bit more difficult to pull out. But if I can, I'll try to do both every single week. But if not, I will do my best to get a video out every week. If I know that something's coming up, I'll maybe double record one day or something. I know I didn't prep too great for today's video, so I don't have any recipes for you today. But I'll just leave you with one further thing before I go that I'm going to talk about in terms of food and dieting. It's going to be kind of a longer one, actually. My wife and I have started the newer Weight Watchers plan, the Points Plus. She is actually attending meetings at this point. It's not something that we're both doing, partly because of monetary reasons. I just don't feel the need for both of us to spend the money to go to the meetings every week. But she is going with her mom and her sister. That's where she's at right now, actually. She's doing fantastic. As a matter of fact, when she was cleaning up her office here and getting it all ready, she found a box of clothes that, like me, she'd put some clothes in that she couldn't fit into anymore. And she actually pulled it all out, and she got all excited. She's like, wow, great, I'm going to have all these new clothes to wear. And then she pulled out a pair of jeans and tried them on, and they were too big. So these clothes that she used to not be able to fit into because they were too small are now too big. So she never got to wear them, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, wow, that's fantastic. I'm very proud of her. Very, very proud of her, without a doubt. Very proud. But since we've been on the Weight Watchers Points Plus, we've kind of tried a little bit more to work a few different things into how we eat. First thing that we've done is we no longer eat carbs for dinner. Instead, we try to concentrate on protein and vegetables, of course, and then a very small sort of health-conscious dessert as a way to keep ourselves feeling satisfied, whereas we used to just completely and totally deny ourselves dessert. Um, Now we try to actually have some sort of little dessert that we save the points up for as a way to kind of reward ourselves for a long, hard day of working. Second thing I want to talk about is something that we've been actually kind of attempting to do throughout the week without actually like planning to do it, and it's something that I think we're going to start doing as an actual thing, and that is to try to have a meatless meal once a week, because while neither one of us is ever going to be vegetarian, meat is something that I enjoy far too much for us to ever completely get that out of our diet. I mean, I very much enjoy chicken and pork and beef and bacon. Yes, I understand that's pork, but bacon is a completely different thing all to itself. And I just love all these different products, so there's no way I could ever cut them out of my diet completely. So, uh, it's going to be meatless, not vegetarian, if that makes any sense. For example, one of the dishes I made previously on a meatless Monday that we did, even though it was actually on a Thursday, I think, is that we actually did a soup. It did have chicken broth in it, so it's not completely vegetarian, but it was meatless. There was not actually any meat product in the meal. The protein actually came from lentils. We've done with beans. We've done vegetable soups with just some starchier vegetables that have a little bit of protein, a little bit of starch to kind of fill you up a little bit. Even though, I say we're trying to do carbless, that means more like I'd say almost empty calorie carbs. Potatoes, rice, pastas, things like that. We kind of try to skip those a little bit at dinner. But the other carbs, we kind of let them go, the starchier vegetables, peas and carrots and things like that. But yeah, so that's where I am right now. I am back. It took a while for me to get here, and again, I completely apologize for that, but I'm here. I'm back. So, um, I am trying to remember what he used to say, so bear with me if I get this wrong, but keep waging a war against your waistline, because this is me, your portly paladin. You have a great day, everybody, and we hope to see you next week.